before we can learn about thinking, we must learn how to observe it. In the next several topics, we will discuss how to observe thinking. While our ordinary everyday life is occupied with the observation of things and thinking about them, the observation of the thinking itself does not normally happen.
The enemy of mindfulness, and really of any meditation practice, is being lost in thought, is to be thinking without knowing that you're thinking. Now, the problem is not thoughts themselves. We need to think. We need to think to do almost anything that makes us human, to reason, to plan, to have social relationships, to do science. Thinking is indispensable to us, but most of us spend every moment of our waking lives thinking without knowing that we're thinking. And this automaticity is a kind of scrim thrown over the present moment through which we view everything, and it's distorting of our lives. It's distorting of our emotions. It engineers our unhappiness in every moment, because most of what we think is quite unpleasant. We're judging ourselves, we're judging others, we're worrying about the future, we're regretting the past, we're at war with our experience in subtle or coarse ways.
The observation of thinking is an exceptional occurrence. Previously, in topic 3.0, an observation of the thinking process was in fact described. We observed a billiard game and described how thinking is kindled by an outer event and goes beyond the given situation. It is through observation that we become conscious of everything that enters our experience. Things given to us through observation include all sensations, all perceptions, intuitions, feelings, acts of will, dreams and fantasies, thought images, concepts and ideas, and all illusions and hallucinations. However, the way we make thinking an object of observation is essentially different from all other things. The observation of a table occurs as soon as this object appears in my field of vision. I observe the table and carry out my thoughts about it, but I do not observe my thoughts about the table in that same moment. Only if I am inactive, in a passive state, do I observe the table while simultaneously being aware of my thoughts about it. There is nothing exceptional about a passive state of mind being immediately filled with thoughts about whatever we encounter in life. This passive state of a cluttered mind is common in ordinary life.
So metacognition really is a fancy word for thinking about thinking. It's very basic, and interestingly enough, from a psychological perspective, not everybody develops that in their brain. So if you think of metacognition also as a way of the capacity for self-reflection. So if you don't have metacognition, you cannot look at your thoughts. And that's what yoga practice is really about, isn't it? To be able to look at our thoughts, and then to be able to look at our belief systems. So that's a step further. Now they're calling it mentalization, is when you're in a state of mind to understand what state of mind you're in. But if I say I am a person who's experiencing depression, then there's a little bit of space there, right? There's a little bit of disembeddedness. So I can look at this person as having this experience. And that's what metacognition really is to have that capacity. But interestingly enough, not everybody has that capacity. So it's really worth our while to be able to develop that capacity. Because without that, we're just operating very unconsciously in the world.
The observation of our thinking process is an exception and does not normally occur. It is important to understand this fact because we are going to compare the observation of thinking with the observation of other things. We must be clear that when we observe thought, we apply to it the same attentive state we use in the study of all other objects in the outer world. When we study other things, we take thinking for granted and do not usually turn our attention to examine the thinking process itself.